Hey, Salakia, still at work. Finishing this video off, man. Like I was rudely interrupted, but it's all good. Where was I?
फिर मल्ले वाले बिलादरी वाले हर बंदा मुझे ना आके वो बेइज्जत कर रहा था कि तुम बगैरत हो चुके हो, तुम अपनी वाइफ को मना नहीं कर रहे हो। फिर हम ताना नहीं सुन सकते। ताना ऐसी चीज होती है कि आदमी या खुदकुशी कर ले, अपने आप को मार ले, या उसको मार ले।
You were just embarrassed.
जी जी।
You care a lot about what other people think of you.
ये बहुत बुरी बात होती है कि आप चिढ़ जाएंगे, आपको गुस्सा आएगा, आपको गुस्सा दिलाया जाता था कि ये आप काम करें। ओके, इसको सीधा करते 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 मैं हिम्मत हार चुका था। इससे फिर मुझे एक दिन ऐसा किया कि इसे मैंने बहुत मारा। फिर हम रजनामे के लिए गए हैं, लेकिन फिर उसके बावजूद से वो बाज नहीं आई है। फिर उसके ना ऐसा ऐसा काम किया, उसने अपने बाल कटा दिए हैं। जब बाल मैंने कटाया ना, फिर मैंने उसके ऊपर मैंने कहा, अच्छा जी तूने ना किसी और के पास भी जाएगी तो ना जिंदा रहे, मैं तो तेजाब फेंकता हूँ। तो उसको पता चल गया भैया तेजाब फेंकेगा। जब मैंने उसे फेंका तो ऐसे किया, ये जगह उसकी जले, कपड़े जले और ये हाथ जले उसका। फिर उसको मैंने फिर तलाक दे दी। मैंने कहा जाओ।
You couldn't just talk to her about it.
10 साल पे आप जो ना वो कितना आप रोएंगे, चीखेंगे, चिल्लाएंगे कि ये बंदा ठीक हो जाए, या आप ठीक हो या मैं ठीक हो जाऊँ। आप कोशिश करेंगे ना?
I wouldn't have done the same thing. Did you think your wife was beautiful?
जी माशाल्लाह खूबसूरत थी वो।
No, it's really difficult to empathize with someone like that whose logic is so out of whack. The fact that he chose the word fashion to be this charged and sort of brutal thing that happened to him blew my mind. I now know that the Fashion Week is some kind of political act if people like him still exist in this society.
So now you're talking shit about the man, right? The men in the East, man, they're different, right? He instructed his wife to stop wearing provocative clothing. He should have just divorced her instead of like pouring acid on her face, right? But you women in the West always talk about you're depressed and you're oppressed and all that stuff. These women in the East, they have more things to worry about, man. Right? They have to worry about staying alive, right? But like that's like when you're in this truth, man. All praises to Yahweh Shem Shai. He exposed us to this truth because we would have been like these guys, man. Right? We cling on to the Lord. These guys cling on to their women, right? And when the women don't do what they say, which is all scripture is supposed to like cut her off from the flesh, man. Cut her off if you don't like cut her off from the flesh. Yep, there it is. Cut her off from the flesh. Give her a bit of divorcement. Right? This is Ecclesiasticus 25 and 23. A wicked woman abated the courage, make it an heavy countenance, and a wounded heart. That's what was going on in that man's mind. Right? She was starting to have that Western philosophy in her head, in her heart. Right? She was being disobedient, right? And she was being stiff-necked. And a woman that will not comfort her husband in distress, make it weak hands and feeble minds. And she was taunting her husband in a way. That's what, from his part of the story, and I'm sure she has something else to say. She'll give another side of her story because, most of these guys too, when you because I've been studying these men in the East for a while too. Sometimes they want another wife, or they don't like the bitch anymore, and then they just throw acid on her and divorce her, man. Because women don't really have say in those society, right? Most of the time they're being abused, right? And they just have to tough it out, right? That's why the scriptures bring balance. The only time a woman gets to be put to death in the scriptures is if she commit adultery, right? If she start wearing provocative clothing, the scripture tells you to cut her off, man. Don't throw acid on her face, right? If the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to get abroad. And he was trying to do that, right? If this is true what he's saying, right? Because those society, they give women no liberty to get abroad at all, right? So the fact that he's saying this, it's kind of hard to believe, right? Because men like this are nut jobs, man. Right? In societies like that where women have no say, most of those women are in order, right? So I have to look at this from a two part, because knowing these Elamites, they like to abuse women a lot, right? They like to molest women also, their niece, their nephews, right? This is what they do, right? So the fact that he's saying she was wearing provocative clothing in an Islamic society, yes, are those societies starting to change? Yes, but men also in those societies are psychopaths, right? When it pertains to their wives, you know, they're not balanced at all. Because I know a lot of women from the Elamite culture that suffers here, man, in Canada, right? Because Elam really don't know how to deal with women at the end of the day, right? It's either he kill his wife, or he just burned the house down and kill himself. That's how Elam roll, right? They're very impulsive, very emotional, right? And most of them they don't have any game. When I say game, they don't know how to deal with women. It's either you're my possession forever, right? But us in the truth over here, we've exposed to everything. We've been exposed to rebellious women. We've been exposed to good women, right? So we kind of have a balance. They really don't have no balance. If the woman goes off to the left or to the right, they regulate, right? If she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. But he did give her a bill of divorce, but he threw acid in her face, right? This is not scriptural, and this is wicked, right? Because a lot of Israelites are among these people, right? A lot of Israelites are amongst the Pakistanis, the Bangladesh people, right? Because Thomas went over there to preach. That's where Thomas died, in India, right? You know, the scripture in Revelation, when it says they have drunken the wine Sakia of the great whore. The nations are mad. Yep. It says here, this is Revelation 18:3. For all the nations have drunken of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Reason why I brought that out is because just in case the man was in the right, it really doesn't matter if he's in the right or the wrong. She's in a state where she's shunned forever, right? And the reason why he did that to her is because him throwing the acid in her face, that prevents her from being married again, right? If you don't want her anymore, if she's not doing as you say, just divorce her. But he did that so no other man can have her, right? And that's off, you know. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So that Western society and mindset is seeping in those other nations, man, right? Those Eastern women are starting to slowly turn into Western libertines, you know. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. Who's the her? The great whore, Babylon the Great, America, the Western society, the image of the beast. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through her delicacies, right? Yep. You know, so I know exactly what that man did. You can definitely see what he did, and what he did. We know why he did that, right? As a man, who deals with women, and we have that same mindset where you can see when a man is very emotional about a situation, right? And to them, provocative might mean something else. To them, provocative might mean she's in a hijab and everything, but tight attire, but she's still covered up. I mean, her silhouette might still show, right? I doubt that she was out there walking around in in tight Lululemon clothes. That's impossible in societies like that. Especially, he looks like he lives in the countryside. The city is most likely to be like that. But if it's in the countryside, where women really struggle in the countryside when it comes to this Eastern society, because these men, like my woman is from Elam Nation also, right? She's from Bangladesh, and she tells me stories, man, of men just throwing acid on women's faces if they say good morning and the chick doesn't hear you or whatever, she ignores you. They just come back the next day and throw acid on her. They do like gang rapes and all that shit, man. So that man, through the spirit, you can tell he's lying, right? He's lying. You know what I'm saying? What scripture did I have in mind for this? Oh yeah, the spirit of jealousy. But they don't have this. The scripture have it. The spirit of jealousy. I think this is Numbers 5, right? Numbers 5, I think. Numbers 5 and 14. So it goes into a whole thing, but I'm just get to the point, right? And the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be defiled, or if the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be not defiled, then shall the man bring his wife unto the priest, and he shall bring her offering for her, the 10th part of an ephah or barley meal. He shall pour out oil upon it, put frankincense thereon. It is an offering of jealousy, an offering of memorial, bringing iniquity to remembrance. And the priest shall bring it near to her, and set her before the Lord. Right? Verse 17. And the priest shall take the holy water in the earthen vessel, and of the dust that is in the floor of the tabernacle, the priest shall take and pour it on the water, and the priest shall set the woman before the Lord, and uncover the woman's head, right, and put the offering of memorial in her hands, which is a jealousy offering, and the priest shall have in his hand the bitter water, and causeth the curse, Salakia, and the priest shall charge her by an oath, and say unto the woman, if any man shall have lain with thee, and if thou hast not gone aside to uncleanness with another instead of thy husband, so adultery, okay? This is far less than adultery, but this is how adultery seeps into a society when a woman starts following the West and not listening to her husband, which I doubt what this guy was saying is true, right? Because of the area that they're living in, right? And he said he folded to the whims of his neighbors, right? Talking down on his wife and making him feel ashamed. But he says it's been going on for 10 years, which is, a woman's not going to be dressing scantily clothed for 10 years and not listen to you. I think from the situation, right? I think he just wants another wife, man, right? And he doesn't like her anymore, and also he just doesn't want another man to have her, right? So he just threw acid on her face and divorce her, But to go into another topic, her fathers and brothers, they can also take revenge, man. So these guys usually run when they do these things. That's how you know it's not right, right? Because that woman's also someone's daughter, and that woman's also someone's sister, right? Be thou free from this bitter water, and cause it the curse. So if a woman commit adultery, then she can be put to death. You don't defile her face and disfigure her and then leave her. You just put her to death, right? Whether it be stoning or whatever the priest or whatever said the penalty should be, right? But if thou hast gone aside of another instead of thy husband, and if thou be defiled, and some man lain with thee beside thine husband, then the priest shall charge the woman with an oath of cursing, and the priest shall say unto the woman, the Lord make thee a curse and oath among thy people, when the Lord doth make thy thigh to rot and thy belly to swell. So that's going to be the curse that comes upon a woman that commit adultery. But if a woman doesn't want to listen to you, right, like this man says, you have to cut her off and give her a bill of divorcement, not disfigure her face and abuse her, right? Might as well put her to death, right? But you want to throw acid on a woman's face and then divorce her. You know what I'm saying? So that just shows you that he's spiteful in his judgment, right? And he wasn't being truthful, right? So the way he did it, you can just tell that something else happened, right? It's either he's jealous of her, right? or he doesn't want her anymore, so he just disfigure her face and divorce her, which is totally against the scriptures, man. Right? So these other nations are going to learn our ways, right? These nations come to worship our God. I think it's in Isaiah 60, right? Zechariah 14 and 16, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is left, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem, even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. Meaning what? They're going to keep our laws, statutes, and commandments, right? They're not going to go off doing shit like this, right? They're going to follow the scriptures. They're going to follow the ways of the Israelites. They're going to follow the ways of the Bible, right? And we're going to be judges. We're going to judge these nations because obviously they've been going off for years now, right? They've been doing things their own way, which is not the right way, right? And as you can see, they need the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible to be governed by, right? Because they're into idol worshiping, they're into murdering their spouses for no reason, right? And the Lord can do this because the Lord is just showing us that these nations, they have no balance, and they need our laws in order for them to function properly, man, in a society. Right? To judge the nations. To judge the nations. I can go into Yahushua, but I want to really get, if Yahushua comes up, then it's okay. Isaiah 2 and 4. And it says, and he shall judge. Let me see what it says here. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Right? And that goes with fighting amongst each other. Right? Let me get another one here. Wisdom of Solomon. They shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign forever. Right? So all these idol worshiping, all these abuse, right? All of these unrighteous judgments that they're passing on each other, they're going to be put to rest, right? Because the Lord will reign. And guess who's going to be joint heirs with the Lord? The elect. The elect are going to judge, right? A kingdom of priests. A kingdom of priests. A kingdom of judges, right? And priests. Because that's what the Lord wants from us, to judge these nations, man. Right? Revelation 1. It says here, and hath made us kings and priests unto Yahweh and his Father. To him and be glory and dominion forever and ever. That's not what I want. A kingdom of priests. 2 Peter. Yep, this is what I want. 1 Peter 2 and 9. Right? But the Lord shall be called, but you shall be called the priest of the Lord. They shall speak of you as the minister of our power. Where is that? And in the glory you shall boast. Yep. Verse 6. And you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words that you shall speak to the people of Israel. Right? You are a chosen race, right? A holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of the darkness into the marvelous light, right? And made us a kingdom of priests to his power and Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Because these nations, they need us, man. Just like how we need the Lord, they need us to be in power. They need us and Yahweh Shai to rule this earth so that they can live righteously. Shalom.